Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm sorry I'm so late. Guys, listen, I am the moment at this point. I have to, you know what I'm saying? It takes me time to get in here. I'm still a little congested. Let me see who's in the chat. Hold up, y'all. Why is my phone off? Did my phone go off? Lord have mercy, the battery died. All right, let me get this intro going right now. And then we will get started. I gotta find my charger, okay? I gotta find my charger and then you know, we'll get going. But my phone is completely dead, so I gotta get going. All right, let's go. Everybody on the Discord know that I'm live now. Live now. Now. Ahora, ahorita. Like today. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Welcome back to my channel. Look, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the comments that were left under my post as well as my video. I just totally wanted to just have a really good conversation with you guys. Some of you guys actually emailed me, and I thought it was. Um, worth talking about because I really, 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 uh, yo, in the comments. All right, keep the mess to a minimum, okay? Keep the mess to a minimum, and hopefully you guys can hear me. I wanted to talk about this cartel theory because it really did kind of get to me, and then there was a couple of you guys that actually emailed me, and I'm totally going to go and talk about those emails and talk about your comments. Now, here's the deal. And I think it's fair, right? I'm all about like open mind, open perspective, really thinking about other possibilities and even making speculations. I'm down for it, right? Um I think when it gets to a point where people go above and beyond those speculations, then we have a problem. Absolutely. This looks it grandma, it is not messy. I promise you. Listen, this is I am the icon too, all right? I am the moment at this point. You love my hat? Thank you. Thank you. I'm not wearing a helmet, but this is me. I should have put the Mexican icon because I am Mexican, but I am for the moment. I am the icon, the moment. Um, so I thought I was like, it's fair. It's fair for us to talk about everything. Bryan Kohberger is sitting in prison right now. Um, I definitely feel like I definitely feel like, you know, the prosecutor has a job to do. And therefore, we need to understand that, allowing those professionals to do their job, wonderful. It's been a bit of a crazy ride, I think, to have set this trial all the way till it's coming up, right? But several months down there. And not necessarily think about, like, all right, the community, all these people that are speculating things, and of course, this is for their time and their preparation. Absolutely, because we have to let them prepare. um, he's definitely not in prison. Well, then you have those comments. Um, I'm not. I should I? Listen, I still have to work on my rabbit media hat. I'm not this I'm just having fun, okay? We're just having some fun here. I am being a little petty, but I'm having fun, okay? I don't know what y'all talking about. It is what it is. I am an icon. Keep that. I am the moment. I'm an icon and I'm the moment and I'm the rabbit. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Sorry. Yes, he's in jail. My bad. You're absolutely correct. Thank you for correcting me. Yes, he's sitting in jail, and the burden of proof absolutely is to the prosecutor at this point. So we will definitely see kind of what comes about when it comes to the situation. So do I believe that he's still a lot to prove? I'm curious to know what all the information that the prosecution has on this man. Um, and we'll go from there to pinpoint this crime to him, right? But I'm also willing to talk about these other speculations that you guys have all had about the fact that he's been set up, that Bryan Kohberger has been set up, that El Chapo, the Sinaloa cartel, all of these cartels have had a hand in this man being set up. I'm down to talk about, you know, why that is. I got an interesting email and I want to shout this person out, although I'm not going to share, who it is exactly. And thank you for the email because I think that they were in their good mind really trying to give me some idea as to why they went this route. Um, yeah, my uncle El Chapo, El Chapo's all the way in Colorado right now. He's in the maximum security. He gets visitation every once in a while. I'm not on the list at this point. It is what it is. It's okay. He doesn't know he's related to me, but we're related. So this person sent me some receipts. And the receipts are essentially articles and Google searches that they've done as to why they've pinpointed the cartel to the Idaho 4. And and to be fair, some of these, articles are very intriguing. I will give you that. They're very, very intriguing. Okay. One of the things that they shared with me was the United States Department of Justice. Justice Department announced charges against Sinaloa cartel global operation. Chapitos charged in the department latest action to disrupt the flow of illegal fentanyl and other dangerous drugs, right? So this was an article that they sent to me. I thought it was like, oh, okay, well, cool. Like this was released April 14th of 2023. Totally makes sense. It is up in the Department of Justice website. And I appreciate that they've sent this out to me. Ava, there is this theory, and I will look at those comments. We can go over there as well, where people have said that there are tunnels connecting, you know, between the university to the house and other homes. There's these underground tunnels. Now, you guys remember, my uncle escaped through a tunnel. Okay, the escape happened, and it was a huge deal. Okay, because how did Uncle get through that? I really don't know. Okay, like and the way he just kind of went through it, it was just I mean, it leaves people to speculate a lot, right? So I had asked everybody about what yesterday, why would the Mexican cartel, a Mexican cartel, because mind you, there's numerous cartels, want to frame Bryan Kohberger? Like that is something that people have not necessarily been able to really answer to me. I get. Let's just say that Bryan Kohberger is an innocent man. Let's just entertain that for a minute. Let's say that he's innocent, okay? And he's sitting in prison right now. He's an innocent man sitting in prison and somebody framed him. I want to understand the why behind why frame someone like Bryan Kohberger? Was he just somebody that just happened to be the perfect person to frame for this crime? I'd like to know. The tunnels are interesting. Yes, they are. I mean, they're all over the place. Listen, they're very interesting. Okay. Yes, yes. There are still a lot of tunnels in Arizona they haven't found. It's very true, Belinda. And that's the other thing too. I do believe in tunnels. I do believe that there's a lot of underground stuff that happens. Believe it or not, I actually feel like there's a lot connected to that. Part of it is in conversations that I've had with folks and whatnot. But and just personal knowledge of just certain things that have happened, right, between Mexico and everything. Yeah, definitely believe that there might be some underground tunnels. But I want to know why the Idaho 4, right? It this could be and why would the Sinaloa cartel or any cartel for that matter, um why this house? Why? I would be more inclined to believe that say that shoot, the mafia. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. I would be more inclined to believe if I were to believe that Brian Kohberger is innocent. I would be more inclined to believe that this might have been a gang related situation. Now, gangs are different than the cartel. Got to understand, cartel is a structured type of business, right? Even it's a criminal organization, but there's a structure to it. So I would be inclined to believe a lot, but I don't know if I can necessarily say that the cartel 100% did it, right? So the person sent me a bunch of articles and I thought it was great and I want to thank them. But when I posted this, and we'll look at the other articles that they send me, I wanted to really talk about the comments that you guys left me. Um, Somebody said, "This is like hard math. I got nothing." Somebody said, one of my members said, "Oh my God, I can't." And someone said, "He's an awkward G." Okay. You guys know what the G, your guess is as good as mine. Okay. Someone else said, "I'm reaching so hard, I'm going to pull a muscle. So speculate. He ticked someone up. He has a debt. He was a narc. He showed up at the wrong place at the wrong time, which could happen. Maybe the murderers thought he saw them. And so they framed Bryan Kohberger." Periwinkle said, "Look, I lived in Idaho for a while, not in that specific area, but there's an immigrant undocumented farmer workers, but never ever did I see anything even remotely related to substance related sales." Shout out to all my farmers and my workers, okay? Because let me tell you something, okay? Those are the people that are doing the hard work, don't necessarily get paid, um don't have like health insurance. There's no other benefits and they're working really hard to sustain their family and send money where they need to, right? They're always picking up the jobs that nobody else wants to pick up, right? And then they're getting paid under the table at the risk for their safety, for their health, minimum wages and whatnot. But just because they're undocumented farmer workers doesn't necessarily mean that they are related to the cartel. That's like saying you're Mexican, you must be part of the cartel. The rabbit is Mexican. That don't mean I'm part of the cartel. That's a huge assumption to make, right? Right? I would believe that the cult that is widely known that is ran out of that town, it's disgusting. The city council is run by it. I would believe there was another person on YouTube, but I'm not going to even say their name because they trolled me for quite some time. And they were also on this Kylie Rodney conspiracy theory. I was watching a little bit of their video and I definitely feel like, okay, say I would be more inclined to believe that this might have some Illuminati. If I were to believe that Bryan Kohberger was innocent, then sure, I would probably believe that the Illuminati might have something, right? Like if I believe that there was, if, notice how I say if, the cartel would have displayed the victims and take responsibility. That's what I'm saying. The cartel doesn't hide like that. Yo, I don't know what movies you guys have been watching. I mean, when you have family members that are impacted by, say, the cartel, okay, or you know of people, or people know of people, you're more, you understand what the culture is and who runs what down there, right? So to me, it's like, why these four university students, and why wouldn't the cartel take ownership over this? Why frame somebody? It's not, the cartel doesn't sit there and frame folks, yo. It just doesn't. It doesn't. Okay? Their stuff is out there. You can find it. The crimes are out there. I think one of the things that I struggle with is that there have been articles out there written that, like, let me show you guys something that really, I think, leads people to believe that there's more cartel, or like the cartel has a certain style of doing things. You guys remember back in January, this was a case that happened in California, where there were 6 people executed, even a baby included. And this was all in Cali, right? And this was actually East Idaho's news.com that reported this too. But this was a story that was read that 6 people, including a baby, were killed in a cartel style execution. Cartel style execution is typically like gunshots, right? Guns. Um, bullets, sometimes straight to the head, very violent, gruesome. There have been known crimes that where people are kidnapped and they are either dumped in acid or or boiled, like I've known of that type of cartel. But cartel, if they are like, that the cartel is part of it. I've lived in Idaho most of my life, never seen the cartel. Well, here's the thing. Oh, is it Yincy? You got a really beautiful name. Shout out to you. Um, I don't necessarily know that you would know it's the cartel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't they don't walk around with like, I'm the cartel. You know what it doesn't, like, you see this, I'm an icon. I don't walk, I'm wearing the hat today so y'all know about it. But I typically don't walk around my house saying that I'm the icon. Okay? Note that. I feel like there are a few gangs, absolutely, that are fairly new and mostly operated in prisons. Idaho's biggest drug issue is the legal stuff that's not legal here. Gotcha. The illegal stuff that's not legal here. I think that's what you meant to say. But I do believe that there is a, they'll tell you when they've done something. The why behind why Bryan Kohberger would be framed is something that no creator has really been able to answer, right? What did Bryan Kohberger? You would have to assume that Bryan Kohberger would have some kind of tie to the cartel in order for him to have found himself being framed. And let me explain something to you. If he was framed, the cartel is not in the business of just leaving witnesses. Okay? They would have taken his ass out too. Why keep him alive in prison so he can face a trial? Help me understand that. Why? Two of the victims in the Idaho 4 um, have had, familial drug issues. There've been, historic drugs and whatnot. That's not an indicator that there is a cartel hit. Y'all been watching too many movies, okay? This is typical cartel. Leave no one behind. They didn't know they were people hiding. Mexicans are the hardest workers I've ever seen in South Carolina. They make pine needle bundles, and yes, they do. Yes, they're usually filmed, or at least part of the torture. You know that it's the cartel. They don't leave. Let me tell you, they wouldn't leave Kohberger as a witness. I don't care how much of an outstanding PhD candidate he met, which he wasn't, as we know, might have been. They wouldn't leave anybody behind. They definitely don't leave anyone alive. They don't leave witnesses. Nope. 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 I don't see the connection between the cartel and these young people. Yes, that is true. I haven't went looking. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's you can see it, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's very hard to find. Like they're not like we're hi, we're I'm in the cartel, y'all. I'm in the cartel. Vice did a piece. Vice and some other like journalists, agencies and whatnot, did a piece about how hard it is for journalists to report on the cartel, right? There's a lot of little gangs as well. Notice how I said gangs. They're not the same. Cartel and gangs are not the same. But journalists are getting killed all the time in Mexico for reporting on things that they are exposing. You know, you run the risk of reporting, of getting killed when you're out there piecing things together, and you don't know where the hit is coming. It could be from the inside, it could be from the, from wherever. So it's one of those things where it's like you'd have to wonder why. Why what is it that Bryan Kohberger did? Bryan Kohberger would have to have had some kind of dealings with the cartel in order for him to have been framed. That's the only explanation that I can give. So I guess I'd like to know and understand, why is this a setup? Why Bryan Kohberger? Thank you, Morals. Thank you for loving my hat back. I've lived around the cartel my whole life. Took me a while to figure out what they were, mostly after they were erased. Okay. Some people mix cartel up with, is it division members? I've never heard of that. Instigate division members? Is that what it is? Hmm. Shout out to Oh, thank you, my love. Content providers getting very creative to the very least. People say people love a romantic crime story. I don't believe he was framed by the cartel. I don't think the cartel angle is a stretch at best. You think okay, I think the cartel angle is a stretch at best. Thank you. Yes, they send their message loud and clear. Loud and clear. Grandma said, or you respond to grandma, that the pipeline came across the border in Montana, then dispersed very fast. It has been a problem in quite a it has been a problem quite a while because of the wide swath of trees they've cut for air surveillance. Poll, poll trolls unite. You guys want a poll? The surviving roommates wouldn't still be surviving if it was the cartel. There would be no survivors, y'all. There would be no survivors. Absolutely. Um, y'all, I need a cartel badge at this point. No, I ain't trying. Listen, I'm not. This is as far as I'll go with the icon hat. But why would they kill these kids? You know what I think, and this is I'll tell you what I would speculate on. I wouldn't be surprised if either the victims or those that survived, their surviving roommates, knew who Kohberger was. That's as much of a speculation as I've made about that situation, or might have had some kind of contact with him, or there might have been more to what Kohberger's connection was to the house. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if Kohberger partied with some of these folks and there being a connection to that. That is as far as a speculation that I would make, right? But I don't think honestly that it's a stretch. It's a stretch to say that there is a connection. Now, again, to honor your guys' comments, I'm reading them. Some of you guys said, I don't know, I think it's weird to believe that the cartel story, but I believe the Ring doorbell cam was debunked. Someone said, just get Law and everyone else's trail, cover their besides, and put them else in the light. I'm like reading, and some of the comments here are very hard to read. Evil Queen said, why not? Some people blame everything on Mexican cartels. And I did respond to that. And I said, why? What do we have to show that it's them? And that's my question to everybody. What do we have to show that it's the Mexican cartel? And nobody can answer me. Now let me go to this big old post that I made where my the brother over here, harsh reality with my we shop at the same place. We get icon hats at the same store because we are the moment and the icon of YouTube. This is what I put on my post. I said, okay, I wasn't gonna say anything because I was gonna shut my big mouth and eat my food, but I cannot. So I can't shut my mouth and eat my big, my food when there's too much to say. I said, please know that there's a difference between the cartel and a gang, just like the cartel to the mafia, not the same. It's been known that the cartel will forge relationships with gangs. However, they aren't the same. Cartel is much more militant, which is absolutely true. They are. And there's a business structure. Absolutely effing true. They are. There are businesses out there that actually seek out relationships with the cartel for protection, for business. There's this is an actual organization. It's a criminal infrastructure, right? But it does happen. It does. Kohberger had no friends. He wasn't partying with anyone, but took himself as a sock. I mean, people have said that, and this is why I'm like, yeah. I mean, I could speculate and say, I think that there's more to this story, absolutely. But with this gag order, everything that's been happening, there's only so much that we can and can speculate too, right? And I'm fine with that. With so much misinformation that's been put out there, I'm fine with that. So I don't know. Then I said, here's my question. Why would the cartel need to hit 4 students from Idaho? Which cartel? We have several cartels. We do. Okay. It's not just a Sinaloa cartel. You have a variety of cartels, and some of them are bigger than others. Some of them are well known than others. So kind of keep that in mind. So furthermore, why these two? And I'm going to go to these comments because you guys said a lot. And some of you guys said, thank you for speaking up on this. Yada, yada, yada. Shout out to you. Somebody said, thank you for interjecting some common sense. Let me see what else. Vic, shout out to Vic, said, they really need to stop before someone calls El Chapo or El Mayo. The mayor, for real, they're stepping into territory, speaking on people like they won't retaliate in some. And that's the thing. You guys honestly think that such businesses don't retaliate, such criminal organizations won't retaliate? They do. They do. You just won't know it. Like, why are you pinning crimes on folks that aren't doing crimes? Some of y'all have left me the craziest comments here. Let me see who. Let me see. Was it this one? It had to be one of these. Hold up, y'all. Or was it on my video where I did my little drop on? It might have been on my drop. Let me see. On my misinformation drop. Okay. Yeah, I think it was here. Some of you guys have said, and here it is. Here's a great comment. Somebody said, there's a huge connection between Idaho, fentanyl, and Mexico. Chapitos, which is the article that we just read. Okay. The article that we just read was about Chapitos and that whole what they're doing. Charged in the department's latest action to disrupt the flow of illegal fentanyl and other dangerous drugs. Sinaloa Cartel, a transnational drug trafficking organization based in Sinaloa, Mexico, and its other facilities across the globe, spawned fentanyl precursors to elicit the lab that produces the poison to the networks and other money launderers and murderers that facilitate its distribution. There's residents, I guess, in Oregon was arrested for felony possession of a controlled substance, felony drug-related trafficking, and methamphetamine. Idaho Falls police officers and Bonneville County deputies, and then they cut off in the comments. So they're giving me some other stuff as far as content and context to what they're saying. So based on this connection with what happened with this crime, this one right here, the Department of Justice. Let's go to it so I can show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, this one right here, this article that was released back in April. Justice Department announces charges against Sinaloa Cartel global operation. Okay, so Sinaloa Cartel holds a global operation. They feel like, well, they totally struck Idaho and then targeted these for young college students. The Department of Justice said today's indictment sent a clear message to the Chapito, the Sinaloa cartel, and the criminal drug networks around the world that the DEA will stop at nothing to protect the national security of the United States and the safety and health of the American people, said the DEA administration and Milgram. The Chapitos pioneered the manufactured and trafficking of fentanyl, the deadliest drug threat our country has ever faced, flooded it into the United States for the past 8 years, and killed hundreds and thousands of Americans. Over the last year and a half, the DEA proactively infiltrated the Sinaloa cartel and the Chapitos network, obtained unprecedented access to the organization highest level, and followed them across the world. I'm grateful to the men and women of the DEA for their exceptional work on this case, except it's the beginning of our work as one DEA to dismantle every part of the criminal cartel that are killing Americans at records rate. But none of this helps me understand why is Kohberger tied to this? Why is Kohberger tied to this? Why is Kohberger set up? Okay, there have been drug busts. Okay, the Sinaloa, there's been the transportation of drugs to the borders in the country. Yeah, there's been an issue about that. That has been an ongoing issue for many, many years. Okay, and they're doing something about it and they're being proactive and they notice an influx of fentanyl. But why is this tied to Idaho 4? Exactly. Because he's a recovering addict? Kohberger was? Really? Lord have mercy. I don't really think he is. I'm waiting for you guys to give me an answer because I really was like, let me have this stream to talk about, the comments and stuff because you guys have been, letting me know in these comments. Let's see some of the interesting ones. Um, let's see. There was one here that I was like, Lord have mercy, what are you talking about? Where'd they go? Did they delete their comment? Maybe they deleted their comment. Why would you delete your comment? Let me see. Don't delete your comment. I still like Drunk Turkey Show. That's fine. You all can like anybody who you want. That's not what this is about. But people are still speaking about Brent. There's only so much you can do to respect, there's only so much you can call out, if that makes sense. But that is a huge issue. I really like, and I don't know if you guys watched it, but Menace to Sobriety did an outstanding kind of breakdown, and we're gonna watch that here in a little bit. But let me tell you all something else that happened. So the person that emailed me, and why don't I do that right now? Hold up. Menace. I don't even know how to spell menace. Look at that. Hold up. So that way I can bring it up. Every time I type in menace to sobriety, the other movie comes up. Menace needs to figure that out. Hold up, y'all. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Is it this one? It's this one right here. He did an outstanding video, and I was like, I love this, but I specifically love how this creator needs to have like at least a lot more subscribers. You guys got to check him out because he's really, really good at kind of putting in timelines and breaking things down. Let me tell you guys what he did right here. Um, he called Mr. Harsh Reality out, and I thought that that was very important. I love how he did it. Um, Right, he's a recovering addict, but what does that have to do with the cartel? What does that have to do with the Idaho 4? That's what I don't get. What does that have to do with what how why okay, why was Bryan Kohberger framed by the cartel? Because he's a recovering addict? Hey bunny, I've seen YouTube channels that cartel cartel crimes. They're far more brutal than the Idaho 4 murders. Lots of beheading and things of that nature. They also aren't afraid to show their crimes. No. But uh-oh. Did my internet go out? I think my internet went out for a little bit. Can you guys hear me? Drop a rabbit on the chat. I think I'm back. Okay. Many YouTubers are creating stories just for views. Rabbit reports facts. Well, thank you. Here's the thing. The cartel's not going to chit chat on American soil. Do I believe, if you go back to the Justice Department, hear you? Okay, good. If you go back to the Justice Department article, the cartel forages relationships with various gang affiliated members and whatnot. I believe that there could be relationships, right? There could be relationships with various gangs, MS-13, all the other gangs out there. Totally believable. But that doesn't mean that the cartel ordered a hit. Because I am the moment and the icon. I'm the moment at this point. You know it, Tim. You know it, B. Tim. Let me play this. Let me know your thoughts.
I don't think this is abnormal on social media. Everyone finds a niche, and they kind of get a bump in viewership when they find it. And then they spend the next long while trying to chase those numbers. Naturally, it's more beneficial long term to stretch their legs a bit and gain a few new subs from each new topic they cover, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to beating one topic into the ground with
He
the hopes
did.
that when it's all over,
I love this
there's going to be
video.
a new case that becomes a global phenomenon. But I digress. Anyway, let's start with a fella called Harsh Reality, because I want to address something he just posted about. A theory, for lack of a better term, about the case. Now, Harsh Reality decided to float the idea of a cartel hit to his audience. Now, just to put that into perspective for you, back in the early 2000s, it was estimated that around 1,000 metric tons of flake was produced each year between Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia. That's roughly $75 billion back then. Does anyone really think a cartel would be worried about a few kids in a little college town up in Idaho? I don't know what that economy is like nowadays, but back in the 90s, early 2000s, the cartels could refine the product for about $1,000 a kilo and sell it stateside for 75,000 a kilo. They're moving massive amounts of weight to larger criminal organizations in the USA. Organizations that also wouldn't be eliminating a bunch of college kids. There just ain't nothing a couple of college kids could do to justify the risk of an organization like this having their business dismantled, spending
Exactly.
the rest of their lives in prison,
Yeah,
and pissing away millions of dollars a year in revenue. The idea that the cartel is somehow involved in this is completely absurd, especially based upon the theory that the nickel and dime buying parents were the catalyst of all this. That's bananas. It's
it is.
disappointing that anyone would even entertain these types of ridiculous conspiracies.
What makes this worth considering is kind of three elements to this, and that is one, that parents, families of at least two of the deceased were involved in narcotics. We don't know how much of an issue has to arise before a cartel will take notice and decide to take action. And could the style of action that we've seen in the 1122 King Road, in fact, be done in such a way that it was indeed more of a warning to those who were continuing to do what they were doing, perhaps for the cartel's benefit, to say, look, before this spirals out of control and becomes something bigger, we're just telling you that we're not going to put up with it.
Well, you may not know over there on your side of the pond, but
Mm.
over here we have a pretty good idea as to how much of an issue has to arise in order for a cartel to get involved. And I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that it's a heck of a lot more than a few kids and potentially their parents bumping some Peruvian flake in Idaho.
Yep.
What you saw happen was a warning from the cartels to the other people in the area, because we do hear that there are other houses in that area that do exactly the same thing, some less, some more. But it would be interesting to hear if the ones that they say perhaps had a little bit more, whether their parents had connections to drug charges and plea deals.
Now, Harsh, let me explain something to you. In this line of work, people are only responsible for those that are below them. So the cartel would hold accountable the organizations that they're selling to, which would be large criminal organizations in the US. And then those organizations would be responsible for the people that they're supplying. And those people would hold the people they're supplying accountable until eventually you get down to college kid level. And the people that are holding the college kids accountable are not the cartel.
Notice how this is why I love. Thank you guys, and make sure I just put in Menace to Sobriety's link. You guys go sub up to him. He needs, like, the way he does this stuff is just pure art. Look, notice how he does a breakdown of, like, what would even make us think whether the cartel would have some type of connection to this, right? Why? I keep asking you guys, why? For why? For what? What is the connection between, why frame someone like Bryan Kohberger? And granted, Bryan Kohberger will have his day in court, right? Completely. He'll have his day in court, and we will totally get the we'll see evidence. We'll determine how he even found himself in that situation, right? What exactly was it? The burden of proof is to the prosecution. Definitely. Okay? So to me, it's kind of like, why are we trying to theorize connections? And also, you have to keep in mind, like, how does then that harm everyone around, families, victims, survivors, about what has happened? I just think that it's really irresponsible. You can speculate. A lot of us can speculate. I have speculated a lot about Bryan Kohberger. I honestly believe that Bryan Kohberger was probably known to those victims and the surviving victims. I have a sense that now that is my speculation, but you will not find me on the internet trying to drive that speculation to make it truth, because it's my speculation. Nothing connects. Nothing. So, yeah, I did, Kit Kat. You got to go up a little bit, scroll up. I just dropped this link in the chat. I'll drop it again, but just so you know, it was dropped already. You guys go sub up, okay? And hit that like button for his video and mine.
It's the street level dealers that are supplying the college kids that will hold those kids accountable. Now let's talk about the clickbait. The clickbait being pushed upon you all, the viewers, is insane. Look, I get it. Everybody wants to maintain their numbers. It's payday on these YouTube streets whenever there's a major tragedy that doesn't involve a school incident. But stop purposely misleading your viewers. You'll notice one common tactic is to simply leave out the question words in the title. For example, instead of titling a video, "Does Bryan have an alibi?" they'll simply title it, "Bryan's alibi. Shocking." Then, in the content of the video, they'll discuss the state's demand that Kohberger's lawyer produces any alibi information they have. But until that point, they've conned their subscribers into watching several minutes of their video, thinking they're going to get breaking news about an alibi that Schlepp the streamer is seemingly the only person to have.
Bingo. I think Menace has picked up on the various different things that people on the true crime streets and what they do. The other article that I was sent, and just giving you guys, because like I said, I was sent a lot of articles and emails and whatnot from people. There was somebody who sent me an article that said several arrests, major drug seizures made in 3-day period on March 7th. Okay, so this is back in March of 2022, and they're essentially saying that there's been just so many drug busts going on in that area. They've said who's been charged, what they've been charged with, and essentially what those crimes were. The other thing that they sent me, um, let me see, let me click on that. If you go to Google, they send me the link. They said, if you go to Google and just search Moscow, Idaho fentanyl, okay? And just see how many articles are out there. These are the keywords: Moscow, Idaho fentanyl, except fentanyl's misspelled here, but Google's correcting it. I clicked the link and it sent me directly to this, right? And I'm just showcasing what this person emailed and sent me. I can't conclude, and thank you, Christina, for becoming a member, and Miss Kathy P for renewing. And shout out to TJ who's in the chat as well. I can't conclude that this immediately means we have something going on here, right? We can't. It still fails to tell to say why Bryan Kohberger was framed. How? For why? University of Idaho student dies. Okay. And again, all fentanyl related, all drug related. Police suspect fentanyl was involved. The Daily Chronicle: two people in custody after man dies of apparent. More on the fentanyl stuff. Okay. Got it. There's an issue. They have a drug issue. Okay. Got it. Totally. Another thing that they sent me on this email was an article, another one. And like I said, I appreciate that people are sending me this stuff, but none of this ties from the Chronicle. Two people allegedly connected to March overdose death in are set to release early. Okay, this was again about this drug fentanyl overdose in Moscow, Idaho. Okay, nothing shows me there. There's nothing other than that. I mean, I don't know what else. It was close to the house. People died. What else is there? Thank you. Correlation does not equal causation. It's one of the logical fallacies that we have here. And then there's so many that run here. I don't get the connection. I don't. I don't. Unfortunately, people have a lot of drug issues in that area. That's what that tells me. Unfortunately, and it sounds like the Justice Department is doing something about it. Sounds like, yep, college kids want to make money selling drugs. Okay. And even if that was the case, let's just say that that was the case. Let's just say that they were selling drugs and suddenly somebody put a hit on them, right? Why frame Bryan Kohberger? What is the connection Bryan Kohberger would have to either the cartel, to any of the gangs? Was he just a random person that got picked up and then put in there? Yes. Yes. There's a lot that needs to be addressed. A lot. Liz, I am the icon in the moment. That's the hat. This is like, I'm so lost. I don't know what's going on. Didn't they find a bunch of evidence on Brian's PC in his dorm room? I mean, but if Bryan Kohberger was set up, then it was with a knife. Yeah. Wouldn't law enforcement come out and say, wouldn't law enforcement come out and say if there was a connection with the cartel? I would think that the information would be everywhere. Yeah. You can't. That's the thing, Petty. It's just like, but people do believe that there is a connection. to it. So you can believe that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. He hasn't been found guilty yet. You can believe that Bryan Kohberger is innocent. You can speculate on a lot of these theories. I have a lot of speculations too. I haven't outright said them, but I don't necessarily want to make content about it because there's just speculations. But that doesn't mean that, like, what is the setup? Fine. In order for this to be a plausible theory, you would need to understand Bryan Kohberger's connection to the cartel. Some of you guys are saying that he was a recovering addict. I read that too before. I mean, you know, he might have been set up by his partner, possibly. The man ain't innocent. He did that shit, and no cartel set him up. I believe I can fly. I believe pigs can fly too. Lord have mercy. We have to wait. Yeah, exactly. Can we just wait at least until it starts? Absolutely. But no connection to the cartel. If he was set up, there would be a lot more evidence out in front of everybody. Would have taken it along because whoever else did the setup would have plastered evidence. Yep. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Right? We'll just have to wait and see. Okay? We'll have to wait and see what happens. There's no All right, guys. So, I mean, the fin, right? That's just because somebody does drug doesn't mean that you're connected to any cartel. Deborah, that's my question. Somebody went to great lengths to set him up. And why Bryan Kohberger? Can we let this man have his day in court and then determine whether there was cartel? Let's just do that. You know? We don't really know what else. There's a burden of proof that needs to be met. There'll be a jury of their peers of 12 to decide how this is going to go down, right? Just saying. I mean, that's going to be a very heavily covered case. I will say that. You got some money? It, yeah, well, damn. Yeah, I love you, Rabbit. It was probably a Brian Groupie. Lord have mercy. The Christ Church is in the Moscow cartel. Lord have mercy. Y'all leave Jesus alone. All right, you guys. I'm out of here. I will see you guys later on. I'll be live later on today because we gotta definitely cover some stuff. And I will talk to you guys. Let me know your guys in the look. I validated some comments of the opposing view, to figure out this coverage. What's going on and whether he was set up by the cartel. I still don't believe that he was. I still believe he will have his day in court, and the prosecutor has a huge job. We got a lot to figure out, but other than that, we really don't know. Yeah, I highly doubt that too. But those that are drinking the Kool-Aid, keep drinking the Kool-Aid. Y'all still haven't determined and figured out why would Bryan Kohberger, why set him up with why would the cartel want to set him up? Why? I don't know. Rabbits out.